Greetings. Greetings, folks. We are back in the Brain Claw bunker deep underground in Morrisville, Pennsylvania. Back for another ridiculous issue of Chinese virus lockdown issue 5. Hope everyone is well. We are well here. And please let me know that you are hopping in. I've got a few things to chat about today. Probably won't be a marathon session today, but I wanted to touch base with you guys. It's been quite some time. So what's going on? Well, we're all still here. We're all still healthy. Happily, we're all well. Our mental states are more or less stable. And I don't know about you, but I do keep an eye on current events in the news as often as I can. And I'm seeing a sea change happening. I'm seeing a shift in tone. And I think we're on our way out of this mess. And I'll tell you why. I'm seeing people not talking about dying in the millions. I'm seeing people not talking about this going until the autumn. I'm seeing people protesting in Michigan, Lansing, I believe, Michigan. Hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of people by now, protesting their governor's draconian and somewhat arbitrary bans and restrictions due to ostensibly this virus. And people are done. People have had enough, and they want to get that economy opened up again so that it can explode the way I know it's going to. So anyway, and you're seeing politicians beginning to, the smart ones, the ones that have their finger in the air and are sensing the prevailing, the prevailing feeling among the American people that we are done with this and we want to get back to work. And the talk is shifting from we're all going to die to here's our plan to open everything back up as soon as possible. So I'm hearing this tonal shift, which I'm sure that you have been hearing yourselves. So I mean, that's an encouraging sign. Everyone keeps the experts are downgrading suspected death rates, constantly changing that downward. At one point, 2 million American dead was the projected toll, and that's no longer even being touted. I don't know what the recent numbers are, but I think we're downwards of. They keep trending it down. The last time I checked in, it was like 40,000, and we have 23,000 or 24,000 as of today, which is, horrible. Nobody wants to see anybody die of a disease, especially one that we did not bring on ourselves, but we'll get into that later. So things are changing. The prevailing feelings are changing, and they keep revising numbers downward, which is a great, great thing, which is really great. What's going on? Oh, I have a visitor on my lap. This is Bast, my 20-year-old tortie. You've met her before. She's a sweetheart. You want to say hi? Over here. See her pretty face? No, not much of a star. Okay. Whoa. Don't step on the keyboard. Come here. She's getting on in years, but she's still very hale and still very snuggly and playful. So that's great. What else? What else are we going to go with today? So everything's trending down. Everything's leveling out. Here's the other thing you're going to see. You're going to see a lot of death merchants who were predicting the end of the world. You're going to see a lot of ass covering in the next 2 weeks. I guarantee you. Keep your eye on the news. Keep your eye on a respected news source. Actually, watch the watch the unrespected news sources, because they're the ones who are going to be spreading the most propaganda and spin in the next 2 weeks. They're going to tell you that our president's team radically overestimated. It was their fault now that they were scaring the hell out of everybody with these numbers. So you're going to see everything spun back around onto the president, which is, I've never seen anything like it. He is just the punching bag for the country. And God bless that man. May he keep moving forward and keep instituting policies and making decisions that bring us back from the brink of this and get our economy back to where it was. Weirdly, just before this happened. Most powerful economy in the world, most powerful economy anywhere at any time. And then this happens all of a sudden. Weird, right? We had sanctions against China. We were bringing China to its knees economically. We were, letting them know in certain terms that we weren't going to tolerate their expansion. We were tacitly, supporting the protesters in Hong Kong. Remember those protesters in Hong Kong that wouldn't shut up? Where'd they go? Why did they disappear? Where did it go? Oh, now we know. Now we know where they went. So yeah, how about that? That's just crazy. Great chart. Just want to put that up there. The only good thing happening in the Star Wars universe right now is right here. Just so you know. Anyway. Yeah, back to China. Here's the deal. Anybody with 2 eyes, 2 ears, and a brain, a reasonably functioning brain, knows exactly what happened here. The reports are now coming out that our State Department, or rather our intelligence agencies, had warned of laboratories in Wuhan specifically that were monkeying around with bats and this exotic coronavirus, and that their safety protocols were not up to snuff, or maybe even something more nefarious was going on. I mean, come on. Like I said, we had China on the ropes economically. We were putting them back in the bottle, so to speak. And we were bringing all of our manufacturing back to the United States. We were cutting loose. We were slowly decoupling from them, and they were not happy about that. So all of a sudden, our economy is booming. Everything's great. And what happens? Boom. This virus comes upon us. Fascinating, isn't it? And you watch the leftist media machine leap into action, and just, I've watched everything that has happened, everything that they've said, everything that they've lied about, everything that they've spun in the last 5 weeks, 6 weeks. And it's been spectacular to watch this well-oiled propaganda machine, like something out of the Soviet Union or, East Berlin back in the day. I mean, it's like watching our own media try to destroy our country every day is and bring us down mentally, bring us down emotionally every day on purpose, destroying this country from within. They know how powerful they are. The media knows how powerful they are. The social media moguls in Silicon Valley know exactly how powerful they are. And this is what we get. They have us by the short hairs, and they can do what they want. And we dance to their tune. Where they're the Pied Piper, and we are, unfortunately, the kids following them in, over the cliff into oblivion. Boy, that was a mixed metaphor, but okay, that's cool. So you see where I'm going with this, is that I don't think this was any accident, and I'm just going to say it. I don't care what you think. Frankly, I don't care what anybody thinks. It's like so easy to put the pieces together. Come on. If it comes out and with irrefutable, in-your-face proof that China released a weaponized virus, a bioweapon, in violation of every possible treaty that has ever existed between our two countries and back to the world wars, what are we going to do? Are we going to just be like, oh, blah, blah, they had their own problems. They lost a lot of their own people. They don't care about that. They have over 1 billion people. I think 1.6 billion. The last time I looked at the facts. What's a million or two? It's a drop in the bucket. Sounds horrible, right? Well, I think a lot's going to come out after all this is done, and we're gonna have to. There will have to be repercussions for China. The international community, if they can nut up and actually do something for once, maybe together, they're going to have to address this with China, and they're going to have to be hard with them. I mean, hard with them. This kind of thing can't happen again. But we also need to look at our own response to this. Once all the numbers are in the next 2, 3, 4 weeks, and we see what this was really all about, we're probably all going to stop and be like, did we overreact here? Did we allow ourselves to be played like fiddles? Time will tell. I'm no expert. I'm not an epidemiologist. I'm not an economist. I'm just a regular dude who has his eyes open and who can think and isn't beholden to any particular political party. Obviously, I am okay with what's going on in our, 9/10 of what's going on in our government. I'm okay with. I think the president's doing a stellar job, and you can deny that until you're blue in the face, but I don't see it. I don't see any evidence to the contrary. I really don't. Every single kind of spin that has been put on him is just fallen by the wayside. Oh, excuse me. Because it just doesn't hold up under scrutiny. None of it. He's a human being. He's a businessman. He's a millionaire, multimillionaire, and he's doing an incredible job. Our economy was booming. Unemployment was non-existent. Everything was great until this happened, and it will be great again afterwards. I guarantee it. Guarantee that when people are finally released from their cages and are allowed to go back to work and go outside and spend their money, it's all going to go back to where it was. In fact, I anticipate a post-virus boom in the economy that will make the last 3 or 4 months look like small potatoes. That's my personal feeling. And you'll see the MSM, the mainstream media, do everything they can to defeat it. And you got to stop and ask yourself, why? Why, CNN? Why are you doing this? Why are you guys such horrible downers? And why do you want to see the legs kicked out from under the administration, who's trying desperately to keep things on an even keel? Why would you shoot the pilot of an airplane that you're riding in? Why wouldn't you want him to succeed? Somebody answer that question for me. Because y'all are stupid. I mean, come on. Even if you hate the guy, and I don't really understand the hate, I really don't. But even if you hate him, I mean, I get it. I get it on a political level. I get it on an ideological level. Sure, I get it. He calls people out on their bullshit, which I frankly love. I think it's hilarious. And I refer to him as a wartime president because that's what we're in. We're in wartime. And he's just handing it right back to them every time they offer it forth. And I love watching that happen. So yeah, China's going to have to be held accountable. Our economy is going to come back. It's going to be booming. And I'm looking forward to seeing all that happen. That led me somewhere else. Where else was I going to go with this? Yes, economy, money. We received our China virus stimulus money into our account 2 days ago, way earlier than I expected it. And I was very impressed with that. And I mean, I'm not going to talk about money amounts and any of that stuff. You guys can do the math. We have 2 tax-paying adults and 3 children below the age of 18 in this house. So we are going to be okay. And Stephanie's unemployment and this additional unemployment that the government is providing appears to also be on its way. So we are going to be okay, as far as I can tell, as long as things keep leveling out. Oh, Chris Steer, my man. How are you, my friend? Checking in. He is excited about the second series of Mandalorian. And he thinks that China will have to pay for this. Yes. Yes, they will. They're going to pay, and they're going to pay, and they're going to pay for this. There's just no way around it. The evidence is there. Good to see you, Chris. Thank you for checking in. Anybody else who wants to drop me a comment in the live chat here is welcome to do so. Let me know you're out there. I see a bunch of you are watching, which is great. Thank you. This is just fun for me to do. It's fun for me to talk to my friends live. And I was told in no uncertain terms that I was not allowed to continue to show our basement, which was in disarray. So I have crafted this high-tech scrim that's behind me which is the TARDIS from Doctor Who. And hopefully that's better than looking at my disgusting basement. So yeah, I've got a little bit of a key light happening over there, which is kind of cool. So you can really see my ugly, bumpy 51-year-old face in all HD quality. I'm still shaving my head, which is just glorious because I don't have to worry about getting a haircut, which is apparently not going to happen probably for another 2, 3, 4 weeks, I'm thinking. I really do see this wrapping up soon. I really do. I can feel it. People are done. So that's a positive thing, I think. And the goatee, yeah. Somebody said something about the goatee. Hilarious, right? David with facial hair. A lot of gray, man. I don't know. 51 gray. I mean, yeah, I'm freaking gray as hell. If I have 2 teen boys, how could I not be gray? I mean, come on, give me a break. I like it. I think it's distinguished. Yes. But I'm enjoying this time. I'm really thinking back over the last, this is a gift. I don't know if you guys see it the same way I do. I mean, I feel blessed and fortunate to be working. I feel very blessed and fortunate to have some of this government money starting to come in, which is, hey, look, it's my money anyway. Send it. Great. Awesome. Send it. I will take it. I've been paying you guys half of my paycheck for my entire life. So sending me a couple nice big chunks of money, keep it up. Do it. I'm very grateful to have it. We're going to be able to eat, which is great, and get the other items that we need while we are here. But yes, I feel blessed because I'm able to work every day. I'm bonding with my daughter. Not that I wasn't so perfectly bonded with her before, but now we are able to do so many things every day. Today we went out. We have a huge bamboo, I don't know what the right term is. A bamboo fall? No. A bamboo patch, a thatch, a patch. Is it like a gaggle of geese? Like, is it like a bumble of bamboo? I don't know. But the bamboo has taken over the rear half of our property. And Gwenny and I went out and we are in the process of building a lean-to out of bamboo, just like a bushcraft lean-to, which is fun. It's not, it's not a real bushcraft lean-to, but it's really cool looking. And we're making a little base in our bamboo, and she's helping me. It was completely her idea. She said, Daddy, let's make a fort in the bamboo. And I was like, yeah, let's do a little bushcraft, kid. So we're notching it all together, and we're going to lay greener bamboo on top later as a roof. And, we can hang out in there and tell scary stories, which we like to do together. Definitely my kid, this one. But yeah, we're doing activities every day. She's learning every day. She's online doing school every day. I'm teaching her nothing but practical things every day. We checked tire pressure the other day, and she knows how to check the tire pressure at 4 years old on my Chevy. So badass. She can load a 30-round rifle magazine. This kid can do it with her nimble little fingers.
I can't.
All right, we'll work on it. She's behind me playing Animal Crossing. Oh, and she's gotten quite good at Animal Crossing at 4 as well. So she's enjoying that. So what have we touched on? We've touched on the sea change. We've touched on China. We've touched on some economic issues. Sorry, little cat hair in the mouth there. What else? What else do I want to touch on? There's definitely more. Just try to keep your eyes open and take the pulse of everything you see and read. Every bit of news. I don't care what channel it is. Watch lots of different channels. I check in with as many different channels as I can. Even Al Jazeera, I will check in with, even though it's the propaganda arm of Qatar or whatever. At this point, Qatar. You check in with all these things, and every one of them has a slant. Every one of them has an agenda. Every one of them has a way of looking at the same event through a completely different lens. And that has always amazed me. Like, I wish there was some way that the media could be crafted in such a way that it was purely fact driven. And I guess that revolves around money and power and politics, but Imagine if there was a network that just showed it the way it was. Here's what happened. That's it. We're not going to interpret it for you. We're not going to, put our spin on it. We're just going to tell you what happened. Here's exactly what happened, and not embellish it. And we have to do so much homework now when we consume news and current events. We have to do so much homework. Well, do we do the homework? That is the question. I do my homework because 99 times out of 100, it's bullshit. I mean, just straight up bullshit. Or it's got a grain of truth in it, but it's embellished, and the words that are used in such a way that it spins it in a different direction. And, people will just blindly look at that and be like, oh, I had a person today, a friend on my Facebook page, tell me that all the money was being held up because Donald Trump needed to put his personal signature on every check. and I immediately sent them 3 articles to the contrary. And I was like, no, that's not what's happening. But that is what's on mainstream media. That is a story that they've been pushing in the last, say, 3 or 4 or 5 days. So people read that and they're like, oh, like my parents. God bless my parents. They're wonderful people. But they're from a time when people watched the news and, Walter Cronkite was on and Mike Wallace and these guys. And, the spin hadn't even really started full blast yet. Pre-Vietnam War, people believed the news. They watched the news and they were like, okay, we can go about our lives and make decisions based on this because we know that it has accuracy, and you can't do that anymore. You really can't. Like, how do you, I'm still trying to rationalize in my head, like looking at a story, knowing they're lying about it, and just saying to myself, they're lying, like straight up lying on TV. And I go find the facts. I confirm that the facts are what they are. And then I go back and I look at what they're doing, and I'm just like, I'm just really amazed. I know it sounds naive, but my mind is always blown when I see a bald-faced lie in the media. Because even I, Generation X, doubters of everything, like even I'm conditioned to want to believe the news. I want to believe the newscaster when he says something or she says something. I want to believe them, but you can't. Okay. I mean, just do your homework. Do your homework. Ask people questions, like say, hey, is there any fact checking on this? Or, but I think you should care more. I think if enough people cared more about the lies and the deceit, I think that we would get angry more and we would demand changes more. Every time you hold someone accountable for their bullshit, you're fighting back. Even if it's in a small way, even if it's on I used to get really tired of like mixing it up with people on Facebook or whatever. I used to get really tired of trying to change minds because it got to the point where it was like, you can't change someone who's programmed to do something. They're going to keep doing it. I mean, really, when's the last time you ever changed someone's mind? I would posit that you can't change anyone's mind. They have to change it themselves. You can't change it for them. They've got to suddenly decide, you know what I believe is bunk. It's bullshit. And I have to change the way I think about stuff. I mean, I've done it in small ways, maybe some medium-sized ways. People have confronted me with facts and with new ways of looking at things. And I've changed big behaviors that I've done because of it. Mostly centered around tactics and firearms and living a secure life and living a more aware life. I mean, it might not sound like a big deal to you, but I started carrying a handgun when I was 21 years old. My first gun was a 10 millimeter Glock 20. It was about this big. It was ridiculous. Great gun, just enormous. And I tried to carry it concealed and it was too big. So anyway, the whole point of this is that every night when I would get home, I would unload the gun and I would unload it and I would store it in a lock safe unloaded. And then in the morning I would load it up again And I did this all the time. I was always excessively handling and loading and unloading my firearms over and over again. And, as so much of my firearms knowledge is, I met James Yeager when I took my first course down in Camden, Tennessee with him, and it was active shooter. And he basically saw me handling the weapon and loading and unloading it. And he was basically like, dude, knock it off. Knock it off. You need to learn martial gun handling. And he explained to me why guns are useless unless they're loaded at all times. Obviously, to treat all guns as if they were loaded at all times. And now my guns are never unloaded unless I've just emptied the magazine, either into a bad guy or into a target, usually a target, or I'm performing maintenance or cleaning on my guns. They're the only times that they are unloaded. And everything he said, it just changed my mindset on so many things. And it's like, okay, I was doing it this way, and then you told me why I shouldn't be doing it that way anymore. And you showed me, you demonstrated to me why that was not the best way to do it. So I've modified my behaviors on lots of things in that same way. Why can't other people modify their behaviors? You present someone with facts about a given situation, statistics, and they just ignore them. They go, I don't want to know. I can't hear you. I don't want to hear what you have to say. Because I think it's hard to have your mind view, I think it's hard to have your worldview screwed with. I think we're very invested in being right. And I think we're very invested in, what we believe. You walk up to somebody and you say, well, everything you believe is wrong. And here's why. And I want you to change your worldview. And their minds explode. They can't. I mean, I've done it in the past. I've resisted change. I get it. But I mean, this stuff is important. These world events that are affecting our entire lives are really important. And to keep your mind closed off in that way, I don't see it as good. Open your mind. If somebody came to me and gave me a compelling reason, why I should do, I'm just trying to think of some weird example that I mean, yes, I'm 51. I'm pretty set in my ways at this point. I get it. But if I'm just trying to think of something that they could even, tell me, like, I can't think of anything. But I mean, like, if you came up with a compelling reason for me to do something and you showed me why, odds are I'd probably change, or I would really consider it very hard and then make a decision based on that. Sometimes we make decisions based on economy. Sometimes we make decisions based on children. Keeping your firearms locked up, obviously loaded, but in a very quickly accessible safe, like a biometric safe or an electronic safe, like I use, where I put my hand on it and it opens pretty much instantly. But that, hey, between you and me, that took a lot of convincing for my wife. She wanted those guns unloaded, and I had to really explain to her why that was not a good idea. And I showed her the safe. I showed her how it worked. And at that point, she understood that it was useless to have the thing unloaded. It's kind of like carrying with an empty chamber. I never did that. I can honestly say I never did that. I never saw the purpose of that. But a lot of people carry their modern striker-fired pistols with an empty chamber because, the Israeli soldiers do it. We're going to do like the Israeli soldiers. They're bad. Hey, the Israeli soldiers are badasses and they're awesome. But you don't want to carry your gun with an empty chamber. It will get you killed. And it's like having a safety on your modern striker fired pistol. And that'll probably be a bone of contention for people when they hear that. I will never carry a gun with the safety on it. This is my safety right here. And if you're going to try to have refined muscle memory and try to flip a lever or press a button under stress to make your handgun able to fire, it's not the thing to do. That's something I had to change my mind on, the safety thing. I kind of thought that you needed to have a safety. You should not have a safety on your carry gun. And if anybody wants to debate that with me online, that's fine. Hop on and do it. We'll talk about it. So yeah, change your mind. Look at the facts. Try to be open-minded. I mean, try to be willing to accept some information that you might not want to accept. Oh, more cats entering the fray. I think I'm wrapping up at half an hour. I can't really think of anything else that we need to address today, but it was good to be with you guys briefly and check in. I hope you're all doing well. I hope you've all received your coronavirus, Chinese virus stimulus money. I hope that you are safe and well and healthy. I hope that you're blessed with your family or your friends, depending on your situation. And, use this time again to focus on what's important. What's important to you? What's important? I've done some reconsidering. I've done some reconsidering during this time, and I'm going to release that Brainclaw album that is just sitting there languishing for the past 10 years, 8 years. Has it been? I have a Brainclaw album sitting there waiting to be released, and I just haven't had the money or the time to release it. And that's just ridiculous. This entire body of work. Now the studio is destroyed. I mean, we had the flood. I'm sitting down in that room and I've got my computer working, and that's about it. Everything that's my studio is not here. It's in storage or in my dining room. And we were going to get this renovation work done right before this whole virus thing happened. So when that is done, Studio Auroviral will be rebuilt. Isn't that funny that my studio is called Studio Auroviral? Audio virus? Cool, huh? So yeah, Studio Auroviral will be rebuilt, hopefully by this summer. I may just release the Brainclaw album now, like within the next 2 weeks, if I can. If I get some money together to do that. I just can't believe I have an album sitting there unreleased. It's just blowing my mind. But like, I shifted to Gwenny mode when she was born and away from music temporarily because I wanted to be present for her every minute from the time she came out screaming till right now when she's about to turn 5 in May. And I really wanted to be present for her, but I've given her 5 straight years of undivided attention. And she's a wonderful child. She's smart and intelligent and fun. And she tells me she wants to write songs with me. So she writes these incredible lyrics. She just starts free streaming words and singing melodies behind them. She's definitely musical. So we may have to do a little mini album with Gwenny. We'll have to see how that works out. But yeah, I think I'm going to release that Brainclaw album in the next week or two. So look for that. But yeah, I mean, my focus has been really honed to a razor's edge in the last, say, month, because I've had nothing but time, nothing but time to think about what's important. And I hope you're doing that. I hope you're carting the trash to the curb, so to speak, and maybe finally putting down some of that luggage that you've been dragging around your whole life. Things that are not beneficial to you. Don't waste energy on things from the past. Really. You start every morning with a jar full of energy. And as soon as you wake up, things begin taking that energy out and draining it. And carrying around a bunch of extra baggage from the past is a good way to just lose all your energy within the first hour of being awake. So maybe my mission to you guys this week would be to find some behaviors or some thoughts, some regrets, some grudges, some things of the mental variety that are holding sway over you, and put them in the garbage. Take them out to the curb visually and mentally. Imagine it. That person I hate, that person I haven't talked to, that person who wronged me. Let that shit go, man. Put it in the garbage. Just pick one thing that is dragging you down and put it in the garbage. Just to take it to the curb. And you will get that energy back. My favorite book of all time is by an author named Don Miguel Ruiz, Ruiz. It is The Four Agreements. You've probably heard me talk about it at length. I would like you guys to buy a copy of The Four Agreements. It's a cheap little book, and it utterly changed my life. I still practice its tenets today. I will do it forever. I will practice them forever. We won't go into the Four Agreements. I could do an entire video on the Four Agreements. In fact, maybe we will in a week. Maybe we'll do get the book, get the Four Agreements, read it, and we will meet back here maybe in a week and discuss it, because it is one of the few books that has changed my life. And I don't go in for self-help books. I don't go in for 12-step programs and that bullshit. This book is basic wisdom that would never occur to you. And the things in it are hard to practice, but the rewards are huge. So go get the book, Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz, and we will talk about it maybe next time. So yeah, take something to the curb that you don't need anymore, and we'll talk about that next week too. Maybe you guys can send me what you've let go. Send me something you've let go. Say, I let go of this, David. I let go of that. I hated this person. This person hurt me, blah, 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 blah. Here's a quick little tip from the Four Agreements, which is really going to rub some of you the wrong way, but it's absolute fact. No one can hurt you. I mean, they can physically hurt you, but no one can hurt you. No one can make you feel a certain way. No one. Not your spouse, not your kids, not your friends, not your enemies. No one can make you feel a certain way. No one can hurt your feelings. You hurt your feelings. You decide to feel a certain way. And you can just as quickly decide to not feel that way anymore. And this is a hard concept from the Four Agreements that you need to learn. Excuse me. You choose to react a certain way when someone does something or someone says something or an event happens. You choose how to react. And I'm seeing that every day. I'm seeing how people react, from people in my own house to people out in the world. People choose how to react to crisis. People choose how to react to criticism. They choose how to react to a poisonous person in their life. They choose to get upset. They say, I am offended. I am angered. I am going to be upset, and I'm going to hold a grudge for the rest of my life about this person or this thing. And as I said, I think maybe last week, holding a grudge is like drinking poison and waiting for the other guy to die. It's stupid. So let that shit go. We'll meet back here next week and we'll talk about it some more, okay? We're at 38 minutes. We're going to wrap it up. Thank you for taking some time to sit with me and listen to me blather on endlessly about things that are important to me. Look for that new Brain Claw album, because I have just decided right now that I am definitely going to release it as soon as possible. I hope you like it. It is one of the things I'm extremely passionate about. And I will see you guys back here. Let's do it in a week, okay? Maybe a little more, maybe a little less. And have a wonderful week. Have a blessed week. Eat some good food. Have fun. Tell your people that you love them, okay? And reach out to the people you haven't talked to in a while, okay? And we will see you guys in 1 week. Love you much. Peace.
Dad.